What's up, everybody? If you want to join the greatest online Star Wars community, the Fandom Menace, make sure you hit that subscribe button before today's video starts, so you don't miss out on any updates and you're always the first to know when our newest videos go live.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
The greatest battle Captain Marvel will ever face won't be fought on the big screen, but in the court of public opinion. Over the last few days, the controversy surrounding the next installment in the now decade-long series of Marvel movies has reached a fever pitch. Lies, deception, and backtracking are now the name of the game. In our last video that a few of you may have watched, we discussed Brie Larson's comments, her general demeanor towards this project, and the media who are attempting to praise her progressive ideals. I hope you can hear the air quotes because I definitely made them. Since that video dropped, a whole new wave of sensationalist bullshit has popped up, and well, at this point, I wouldn't expect anything less from Captain Marvel. If you're not aware of what Brie Larson is doing, and again, I'd be genuinely surprised if you didn't, she essentially is using her newfound platform as Captain Marvel to promote radical societal changes that already occurred decades before, while at the same time splitting an already diverse fan base. She goes on the same tired tirade against white men, which is nothing new from Hollywood these days, but it is new for a Marvel movie. Not everything was perfect in the MCU, but no other film franchise had such a great track record of box office success, marketing, and fan unity. Now that's beginning to change. Some would say that we fear change and hate women, but I can say with absolute certainty that the current Captain Marvel problem has nothing to do with misogyny, but everything to do with an egotistical actor running her mouth, and a media making up lies to further an agenda that they think is right for us. It's another battle in the culture war for our entertainment, and thankfully, people are waking up and fighting back. Brie Larson's comments don't need any clarification. It was blatantly obvious that she meant what she said. It was only when people began to call her out for her poor choice of words that she felt a need to elaborate. Well, let me stop right there and correct myself. She, Brie Larson, never felt the need to elaborate. I'm certain there were those behind the scenes demanding that she try and clean up the mess she made by running her mouth, but the result was less than stellar. What a lot of people championing Brie's cause fail to realize is that she's not the all-powerful Thanos-killing entity that Captain Marvel is purported to be. Brie Larson is simply an employee, and represents Marvel and Disney, and when she does what she does, she makes the brand look bad. It's like a bad cashier at Walmart, or the crappy waiter at Outback. A bad experience with them can keep you from returning and patronizing that establishment. In those everyday cases, you have employees working 40 to 50 hours a week, struggling to make ends meet and take care of their families, and one bad day can end that for them. With our buddy Brie, she represents a billion-dollar corporation, trashes fans, and gets paid $5 million for it. But she's not as safe as the media would like you to think, because it is our culture, not bought and paid for politics, that will determine the future success of Captain Marvel. I found an excerpt from a book, New Brand Leadership, over on skippritchard.com, that really lays out why Marvel's new strategy is doomed to fail. Culture matters. When there is a conflict between culture and strategy, culture wins. Culture fights change. Culture fights for the status quo. Culture nurtures complacency. Brand leadership is about getting the right results through the efforts of others. It's about educating, inspiring, influencing, and evaluating. Effective leaders create results by getting others to do the right things to produce the right results. Effective brand leadership is top-down. I know that was a bit dense, so let me break it down a bit. First, when there is a conflict between culture and strategy, culture wins. Culture fights change, culture fights for the status quo. The strategy of Captain Marvel is to try and change culture. As a society, the reason for so much pushback is that we've achieved the societal change the media is pushing for. People can vote, go to school, be successful, be a failure, pursue happiness within the law. It's the same for everyone. But it's stuff like this Captain Marvel movie that believes it's making a change and going to help the future generations. Effective leaders create results by getting others to do the right things to produce the right results. Effective brand leadership is top-down. This is where I'm most disappointed with the entire Captain Marvel issue, Kevin Feige. As the architect for the MCU, he hasn't had a misstep. Yet. However, this time is different. His silence, as well as that of Disney, is equal to agreeing with the more extreme ideals of Larson, as well as those in the ever-dying media. Looking back at the list of bad branding habits from skippritchard.com, you'll see that out of the 15 listed, a few red flags in terms of Disney and Captain Marvel. We're just going to focus on number 5 for the sake of this video, but here's the entire list. Pause it and read it for yourself. Number 5 on the list is focusing on customers you do not have at the expense of customers you do have. This was Star Wars' biggest mistake. Kathleen Kennedy wanted to find new fans and decided that instead of finding a way to please the old and new alike, the old ones were expendable. With Marvel, it's painfully obvious that they're taking a page from the Star Wars Crisis Management Handbook. Instead of getting in front of the problem that they're making for themselves, they're letting Larson and the media go off at the mouth unchecked, causing more damage. The final nail in the coffin has just been hammered in terms of fan importance, but we'll cover that in just a moment. The easiest way to avoid all of this was just not to say anything. That goes to every actor. You're not that smart, you're paid for your looks and ability to read someone else's writing. You are a commodity. If those last two sentences sounded a bit harsh, that was intentional. In this culture war for our entertainment, a tactic is being used to belittle the opinions of others to dehumanize them. Online, a myriad of terrible names are thrown at people, but one commonly accepted name is troll. Traditionally, trolls were instigators, those looking to throw gasoline on a fire, stir up some shit. These days, the definition of troll has been expanded and in many ways bastardized. Now, troll is used by the media to describe someone who has a differing opinion. By overusing a word, it loses meaning and troll has passed its expiration date. Troll is only used because it's common internet vernacular for bad person, and once you can convince an audience to dehumanize someone for beliefs, you open the door for a much more dangerous precedent to be set. That's why it's alarming. Every time you criticize a trailer for this movie, or a comic book, or a TV show that you don't like, you're labeled with the dreaded ist. Sexist, racist, etc. But like troll, those too lose their meaning and make the actual accusations lose their power. It's a dangerous street to cross, so just don't. You'd say that you can't actively critique this film before seeing it, and that would be true, but it's the trailer's job to entice you to see the film, and if it fails, well then you're well within reason to skip the film based on that. As I've said before, you can't guilt an audience into seeing a film by supporting a cause and entertainment. As we've seen with Star Wars, the harder an agenda is pushed, the faster the key demographic will leave. That's one of the 15 no-nos in branding. That's the danger that Captain Marvel faces. Piss off the fans and they won't go. Since our last video dropped, the biggest story surrounding Captain Marvel has been the review bombing. Again, I hope you can hear the air quotes. The media has been trying to spin the narrative that trolls, remember them, are hurting the reviews for Captain Marvel by posting fake scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's stop right there. Here it is, black and white, as clear as crystal.
You stole fizzy lifting drinks!
Sorry, wrong script. The scores that were falsely being reported as fake fan reviews were in reality the percentage of the audience that wanted to go see the film. And as Brie Larson, the media, and stupid people kept toeing the company line of Disney and pushing back at anything less than stellar praise, that interest went down. A lot. The lowest reported percentage of people interested in the film that I could find was 27%. I wonder if it'll go any lower. Well, I know for a fact that it won't, because it can't. Rotten Tomatoes has disabled that feature. On February 25th, Rotten Tomatoes put out a blog discussing the removal of a feature on their website that people were using accurately. That sounds a little scary if you ask me. But let's see what they had to say. Hello, we're making some changes. Today we're excited to start a product update blog, which allows us to keep you informed of changes and updates on Rotten Tomatoes. Over the past 18 months, we've made a number of updates at Rotten Tomatoes, all in an effort to streamline the site and provide users with more enriched experiences. These updates include the launch of a new visual identity, you don't hate the red anymore, right? The creation of new original editorial video and social content, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and a revamped Tomatometer critic criteria that better reflects the current media landscape, increases inclusion, and more fully serves the global entertainment audience. We're proud of what we've accomplished, but let's get to what you really want to hear about. Starting this week, Rotten Tomatoes will launch the first of several phases of updates that will refresh and modernize our audience rating system. We're going to more accurately and authentically represent the voice of fans, while protecting our data and public forums from bad actors. As of February 25th, we will no longer show the want-to-see percentage score for a movie during its pre-release period. Why, might you ask? We found that the want-to-see percentage score is oftentimes confused with the audience score percentage number. The audience score percentage, for those who haven't followed, is the percentage of all users who have rated a movie or TV show positively, that is, giving it a star rating of 3.5 or higher. And it's only shown once the movie or TV show is released. What you will now see at the top of a movie or TV page once it has been released is this. What else are we doing? We are disabling comments functions prior to movie's release date. Unfortunately, we have seen an uptick in non-constructive input, sometimes bordering on trolling, which we believe is a disservice to our general readership. We have decided that turning off this feature for now is the best course of action. Don't worry though, the fans will still have their say. Once a movie is released, audiences can leave a user rating in the comments as they always have. Last but not least, you'll notice that we've been making some layout changes to the site. Who gives a shit? So with that clearly corporate statement hiding under the guise of a blog, it's blatantly obvious that these changes are coming from Disney. There are two ways to look at this Rotten Tomato fiasco. One, Rotten Tomatoes is afraid that people will see through the lies of Disney's marketing, voice their opinions in a public place where they, the audience, have power, and can possibly deter others from seeing the film. Or two, the media on the side of Disney has lied about the fans, aka sensationalized the story, caused confusion with the scores for audiences, and forced Rotten Tomatoes to make the change to their platform that will no longer hurt them. No matter how you look at it, it's not good for either side. An obvious corporate move like this kills the credibility of Rotten Tomatoes. It takes away the fans' voice. It shows just how little they, Hollywood, think of us. Here's the thing you don't realize. They do, and you need to capitalize on. The audience holds the power. You hold the power. Don't like it? Don't see it. The less people that support it, the less likely Hollywood is to make more, and by more I don't mean women-led films. I mean preachy, politically driven media campaigns that belittle portions of the audience. Or maybe just don't make crappy movies. You know, it's all starting to make sense. Brie Larson first calls for less white men as critics. Then Rotten Tomatoes takes away fans' voices. It all feels like a concerted effort to control reviews of this possibly terrible film. They started early, and this was their endgame. It's like Disney is afraid of what they've made, and they don't want to hear what people have to say. Call me silly, call me naive, but most importantly, call me disillusioned. I had held the MCU to a higher standard. I guess you can mostly just call me disappointed. Here's the thing. If Captain Marvel hadn't turned into some agenda flick being used to trash more than half of the film-going audience, these problems wouldn't happen. If the media reporting entertainment news didn't have their heads up Hollywood's ass and had a shred of integrity or decency, these problems wouldn't happen. This is Hollywood wanting to have their cake and eat it too. And we all know what happened to Marie Antoinette. But it's not all doom and gloom. You can still vote that you want to see it. Great news. I wonder why Rotten Tomatoes couldn't wait until after Captain Marvel. I wonder why that had to happen at all. If this is just a small vocal minority of trolls, why scramble so much at 0 hour? It's not like we hold more power than you're letting on, is it? This change to Rotten Tomatoes is bad because it ticks off another box on the list of branding no-nos, focusing on the short term rather than creating short-term, long-term strategy. Short term, they appease Disney and think that they've tricked the fans into seeing this movie. Long term, they've damaged their credibility. They've taken away a properly used feature on their website to protect the allegedly most powerful entity in the universe, Captain Marvel, and taken away any weight they held with audience trust. But I guess it's true what the Joker said. Hubba hubba hubba, money money money, who do you trust? Well, certainly not Rotten Tomatoes, and certainly not Disney. I bet they're hoping fans forget this by episode 9 in December. Good luck. One man who is really hoping you forget this kerfuffle is Kevin Feige himself. That's why he's announced another Avengers trailer is dropping soon. Hopefully you're distracted enough by that to see Captain Marvel. Good luck. So that's it for today. This Captain Marvel situation keeps getting worse and worse for Marvel and Disney. It all started with Brie Larson running her mouth and rubbed people the wrong way, rightly so. Then the media is the one who exacerbated things. I think the biggest problem in all of this is the media. You can call them the shill media, you can call them slanted to either the left or right, whatever you want to call the media is the overall problem. There aren't many websites out there reporting this new Rotten Tomatoes situation. There aren't many people out there that are actually trying to call Brie Larson on her bullshit comments. What there are is people championing her and empowering her stupidity, and that sets a dangerous precedent for the future. Because I don't want to hear any actor give politics. I don't want to hear any actor try to tell me how to live my life. What makes them better than me? What makes them better than you? Nothing. They just have a lot more money and a lot more pull. And sometimes people have the decency to keep their damn mouths shut and not really stir up the pot and try to ruin things for other people. You know, some people, a Marvel movie is their big thing for the year. They get together with their friends, they go see the movie, they have a good time. Imagine waiting all year to see the next big Marvel flick, and you see this, and you're disappointed. And then if you voice your displeasure, well then you're a sexist. It just gets dumber by the day. And you know, Brie Larson isn't alone, and neither is the media. The other Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, has come out, Zachary Levi, to defend Brie Larson by touting the lies of the fake fan review, the review bombing. That's really what they're holding on to, review bombing. Well, there's no such thing as review bombing. Again, I said it in the video, I'll say it in the outro. They weren't reviews. They were the interested to not interested poll. It was a damn poll. It wasn't reviews. That way they can hide behind, well, reviews are bad, but other people are saying it's good, so I'll see it. No, a poll shows the public interest in something. It can show the public interest in an election, or wanting to see Captain Marvel. And just because they didn't like the outcome, well, then they just had to end the game. Last time I talked about moving the goalposts closer to achieve a victory as the Captain Marvel projected box office crash landed into the toilet. And this is just another moment in Captain Marvel's dumpster fire of a media campaign. It's like certain people won't allow certain movies to just not be liked on the basis that they're a bad movie. We always have to turn it into something else that it's not, and that's not a good thing. You'd think people would learn their lesson from Ghostbusters, but they just keep doubling down on it. But most importantly in all this, I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you think about the Rotten Tomatoes situation. You've heard my take. I'll say it again. I think it's terrible. You know, if you didn't have an actress coming out there and saying all these terrible things and rubbing people the wrong way, they would not be interested in the movie. It's basic cause and effect. I don't know how you can keep trying to politicize it and make Brie Larson out to be the good guy or the victim. What is she, the most powerful entity in the universe, or a victim that needs the real Captain Marvel, Shazam, to come protect her? So tell me what you think down in the comments below, and we will be taking away your ability to comment here on World Class Bullshitters. That's just not our game. So leave a comment and tell me what you think. If you're a fan of this channel, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out all of our other videos. Our last one, we jokingly said in the beginning of the video that it was kind of a hit, but 1 million views in 4 days is a new lap record for World Class Bullshitters, and it's a fact I'm very proud of. So thank you to all the new listeners, all the new subscribers, and all the new people who are going to find us after this video dropped. Welcome to the community. If you really want to get invested in the community, check out our Facebook page. We got a private group as well as a regular Facebook page. It's a lot of fun. You can go over there, you can hang out, you can talk about Captain Marvel, you can talk about Star Wars, anything you want to talk. If it's entertainment based, well, then you're in. And if you're really a fan of this channel and you like what we had to say, check out our Patreon page. $1 a month goes a long way, but $5, which is only 17 cents a day, goes even further. You get a bonus podcast each week. You get commentaries, you get reviews, you can request things. This weekend, we're going to have a commentary for Clerks, the animated series from Kevin Smith. Bet you didn't know Jay and Silent Bob had a cartoon. What they did, and it only aired for 2 episodes, even though it had a Super Bowl commercial. But if you want that kind of stuff, Patreon's the only place for it. But if you can't afford it, hey, no big deal. Just join our Facebook group and hang out and get involved in the community there. So we're about 2 weeks out from Captain Marvel, and I'm really interested to see where this all goes. As I've said, I never thought that this would tank the box office and kill the Avengers Endgame. Go watch the first video. But the more and more these things come out, I'm going to guess that the word of mouth will have more power than Disney had anticipated. So if you do get duped into seeing this right away, I hope you have a good time. And if you wait for the reviews, well, you'll hear quite a few of them on YouTube. And no one's getting paid off for those. So folks, I'll be back next time with more. Have a good day, and as always, be excellent to each other.